What's going on, guys? It is Alex, and we have a very unique phone that I purchased. It's from Minimal. This is the Minimal phone, and if you think it looks like a BlackBerry, well, yep, it does. It actually has a QWERTY keyboard on here, but the other cool thing about this phone is, although it is technically a smartphone, the whole idea is they don't want you to use your phone too much. That's the whole point, to disconnect from doom scrolling. And so that is what this Minimal phone is, and that's what Minimal, the company, wants to do. So we're going to review the Minimal phone right now. I've been using this as my only phone in my daily driver. Let's see if this really helped me detach from endless scrolling. Alrighty, so let's take a look at the Minimal phone. So, as you can see immediately, this is an e-ink display, and with e-ink displays, we do have a lot of the refresh things that you have to deal with here, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. But I just want to talk about the form factor. Just look at this beautiful, beautiful phone. It is different than most of the slab phones we have out there. I want to also make a note just how thin this thing is. Just look at that. This is a very thin, nice framed phone. I just really like holding it. It's a little thick and wider than your traditional smartphone right now. However, it is very comfortable to hold. So let's just go through the hardware. We do have a power button on the right side here, and this doubles up as a fingerprint scanner. So here is the sleep screen, and then you can just press on it, and it automatically will go to the home screen once it recognizes your fingerprint, which it does on my thumb. If I use another thumb, which I do not have, you can see it doesn't unlock the phone. It unlocks the phone. So this does work. It's not the fastest fingerprint scanner out there, but it does indeed work. We have nothing on the top here, and then on this one side, we have most of our buttons and our ports. We have a dual SIM tray. This can also use one of the trays for expandable storage. Then we have a volume up button, volume down button. And splitting these two volume buttons is this refresh button. So because it is an e-ink display, you have to press this sometimes to refresh the screen. I'll show you guys, because e-ink displays, obviously, they're going to leave residual things from one page to another. So let's open Chrome up, and then we click on something. You're going to see some leftovers from the previous page. So what you have to do is you click on the refresh, and it's supposed to clean up the page a bit to make it look a little cleaner, and it'll wipe off whatever residual image was on previously. So that is what this button does. You will be clicking it quite often on this phone. On the very bottom, we do have a headphone jack, and we also have a USB-C port, which it charges from, a speaker, and it is just in a really nice package. Of course, the signature thing that we're kind of looking at here that makes this also unique is this really nice QWERTY keyboard. So, of course, this reminds you of BlackBerry, and it does work very nicely. Unfortunately, there's no additional features on this. So that's one of the things that, using this on an everyday basis, I did kind of wish that there was like... on the last BlackBerry that I ever owned, we could swipe down to navigate the screen, so you don't have to physically touch the screen if you're scrolling. Would have been really cool to have that. That was one thing I automatically started doing with my thumb that obviously this thing doesn't do. Very standard layout, has the Alt keys on it, and the num keys are on here on this left side here. So I'm more acquainted to having the numbers on the top like a normal keyboard, or on the right side like a numpad. So having it on the left is a little weird, because you do have to alt and type the numbers when you're entering passwords and stuff like that. Otherwise, very easy phone to use in terms of its typing experience. So you're not going to do any physical typing on the screen, even though this is a touchscreen. It is an e-ink touchscreen. All you're going to do is you're going to use the QWERTY keyboard, the physical keys, and they do feel really nice to click into. Then we do have a camera here. So the front-facing camera is on the basically merged in with the QWERTY keyboard. The front camera is a 5 megapixel camera. I'm not even really talk about it. I'll show you some example clips in this right now. Also, the back camera is a 16 megapixel camera. Once again, single camera. We're not really going to talk about it. Here is the back camera. I'm going to take a picture right here of Vegito. It's taking a photo. As you can see, when you're framing a shot here, it's almost impossible to see what it is. I'll show you guys once again, when you have the camera on, you can't even really frame, you can't even tell what that is. Here's the box of the thing. It's like you can make it out, but you can't make letters out. Let's be honest. It will be very difficult to frame exactly what you're taking a photo or video of. And you don't even really know when it's taking a photo. It's very difficult to use this camera. So once again, you're most likely not going to be using this camera at all. Here it is reversed, seeing me in person. I mean, it's just one of those things. You're definitely not going to use this as your camera at all. Even for emergency purposes, I probably wouldn't say that you would use this thing. Okay, so moving on, we do have capacitive keys here, and this is a traditional Android layout. We have the back button here. So for example, let's open one of the apps like Blink. And then if you want to go backwards, you click back, that goes back. And this is a home button here, that middle button with the minimal logo. You click on it, take you to the home screen. So this is a home button. You see the black that's flashing, refreshing. That's how you go from screen to screen. And this, of course, on the right side is the recent app. So it's a very standard Android interface and navigation for how it works. You swipe down on the actual screen. You do have, of course, your Android quick settings, and it is a standard Android 14 experience here. It's just skinned with something called the minimal launcher. So this is the MP01, and as you can see here, it is just basically Android 14. Okay, so what exactly makes this phone different? This minimal phone, why would you purchase this thing? Well, a major selling point that they want to do, this company, Minimal, is you have to operate using their interface here, their skin over Android. So let's take a look at the Minimal keyboard. So one of the two things that makes this thing unique is the Minimal keyboard can be customized, and obviously the Minimal launcher, which is the skin that's on top of Android 14, which we're navigating through. I'll go through how this Minimal launcher basically works. But first off, let's click on the Minimal keyboard so you can see some of the customization. Very standard things. You can do indentation. There's some auto capitalization, auto spell check things that you would see on other like Gboard and other keyboards that you can download from Android. But this is for the hardware, the actual hardware here that you're typing on. And you can mess around with it. Not much to modify, to be honest. I did disable some of the things to make this a little more useful. Once again, the typing experience is fine. However, I do think some of these things that are enabled do make it a little difficult to type, so you do have to customize it yourself to make it work to your liking. This thing, once again, is running Android 14. It's using a MediaTek Helio G99 chipset. It's a CPU that is an octa-core processor, so it's not the fastest thing in the world, but for an e-ink display, it actually is pretty serviceable. The apps do load up and they actually do work. I haven't actually run anything that really crapped out on here. It actually does work. 6 gigabytes of RAM on this model and 128 gigabytes of storage. Once again, so you can put an SD card, micro SD card in here. There is an 8 gigabyte and 256 gigabyte model, but this is the base model that I have here in this onyx color. Okay, so let's also talk about some other cool things. So this Minimal launcher, this is very basic, right? So we do technically have an app drawer. This is the base screen, the home screen. It has basically the calendar, the calculator, camera, maps, messages, notes, and phones. What Minimal believes you will be using as your basic for your phone. They don't want you to be playing games or scrolling on Reddit endlessly. The whole point of this phone is that you're only using it for the basics. However, I appreciate it because we live in the 21st century. We live in 2025. This is no longer 2000 or even 2010s, right? Our whole lives revolve around our suite of apps. Our phone is a hub for our entire life. And so when you swipe down, you too have all these apps that you can download from the Google Play Store. The full Google Play Store is accessible here. And all of these apps, because it's a MediaTek Helio G99 chipset, you can download whatever works on the Play Store, and it'll run it to varying speeds, obviously, because it is a lower-end chipset or a middle-ish chipset. But the apps do work, and you can actually download these things. I'm not going to play games on here, obviously, because it's not very enjoyable, and that's part of the reason you would buy this. You can use all the apps you're using, but it's just not enjoyable on here, so you probably won't be viewing it. You're not watching YouTube videos as much as you would on a AMOLED display or something like that, right? That's the whole point. However, the reason this could potentially work for people who want to detach from that and still have access, I have DoorDash, right? I'm gonna buy food. I need to order food and things like that. I have DoorDash. I have other things that are available, like one thing for me that's really important is both of my cars, I don't carry physical keys anymore. My Tesla and the Kia, I just use my phone to access these apps to open the car digitally. And I just walk up to my Tesla and I can turn it on and it just unlocks the car. And I have the Tesla app actually on here. And it actually works. This works totally fine. And I'm really glad that I can actually use this to drive my car. This also has Android Auto. Basically, it's an Android phone. So it basically does everything my Android phone needs to do. But it also keeps me from using it to watch videos on Netflix, on playing my games nonstop, which I have been very addicted to certain games recently. Pokemon TCG Pocket. I can't play this on here. It works, but it's not fun. Nobody wants to play here, right? I have my insurance. I have basically everything that I would need to. I can check my Ring camera quickly on here. Basically, everything I would need on my everyday basis is on the phone and I can access it. So I'm not losing much here. I'm just losing the extras that a phone could give me. My compulsive desire to pick up my phone and read an article on Google or on Slick Deals or something like that, right? Things that I don't need to do, but it just distracts me. I don't want to do on here because it's not very enjoyable. So that's the whole point of this. Now, for the e-ink display, we do have a 4.3-inch e-paper touch panel. And I do have to say it's not too bad. It's the 600 by 800 pixel resolution, 230 ppi, which is not too bad for an e-ink display. The 230 ppi is actually not too bad. It's pretty solid for this real estate here. I do have to say the viewing angles are quite nice, and it does get rather bright. You can adjust certain things here. For example, you can change the presets to make this a warmer color. I have it a little lighter. You can also do your night mode to make it easier on your eyes when you sleep. Custom settings if you want. You can also change the refresh variables. There's 3 options here, and this will explain to you what it is. The slowest one is the best quality. They say it's suitable for reading and minimal use. There's a hybrid mode, which it's in beta. It uses ultra when scrolling, so the highest, and animation or video is detected. And then the ultra mode is for heavy detail loss, suitable for playing videos and heavy use. So I'll show you that. I'll move this to the highest one, and I'll pull up a video, and you can see how it's actually playing the video. But like I said, the whole point of this is you're probably not going to be using this to watch videos. It just doesn't make sense to do that. Okay, so I have a video playing on YouTube. As you can see, it's actually playing the video. You can make it out. This is basically, this is not a good video. It's a manga. Okay, now I have a video playing here. It's a YouTube short. You can see I am on the streaming mode, technically. This is with the highest refresh that it can do. And it's playing the video. Here's the middle one. You can see kind of a difference here. And then if you do the reading mode one, the lowest refresh rate, Here's what it looks like. It's unwatchable, right? So it is nice that you do have 3 modes to toggle between to potentially watch videos or use to play games on the higher refresh rate. And it does actually make a difference. You can actually see it. So you can make use of it if you want to watch a video. It's just, once again, not enjoyable, which is a reason why you would buy this phone. It's to prevent you from doing these things, but you still have the option to if you really need to. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but there's a lot of major issues with this device. My biggest problem is the battery. If you look at the battery life, they advertise this to have 4 days of battery life. It has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, so not too bad. Charges through USB-C. However, if you have this on Chrome open, right, I'm literally losing 1% a minute. And the reason I can even get through a day is because I'm barely using this phone. I'm not picking it up. I'm not doom scrolling. I'm not doing any farming on games like I would do on a regular smartphone. And I get basically almost 2 days on modern smartphones nowadays. So this phone, even though I'm not even really using it, I'm burning through the battery life like crazy. So I do surmise that there is software issues here. There's a lot of software issues we're going to touch on in a second. But one of those things is there's a huge battery drain somewhere. Something's killing this phone, and the battery life is unsustainable. I can barely eke through a day with this device. The one saving grace, and I was actually very shocked that it has this. It has a 15-watt wireless charging. So this does have Qi charging. I plopped this down onto my Kia EV9, and I originally didn't know it had Qi charging until it started charging, and I was very shocked that a device like this would have Qi charging. So for a $400 phone, that's something that a lot of $400 phones actually don't have. So it is really nice that this does have Qi charging, but the battery it's terrible. The other major issue I did have with this, even though I did like the e-ink display for the first few days I had it, I did end up with this dreaded permanent line down. You can see right here, you could see a permanent line straight down on the device. And no matter how much you refresh it, it will always be there. It is permanent right there. You can kind of see it when I flash it, right? So this is a known bug. And apparently it is software related with the Minimal launcher. And Minimal says they were going to send out a software update to fix it. And they said it was going to be a week. It's been more than a week. It's been weeks. And it's been a long time. The last software update this one actually got was in February. And as of recording of this video, we are almost through May. So this is, as of recording, still an issue, and it is unsustainable for me to look at this. It is really annoying for me. I just can't stand this. The other issue I did have with the software, so this phone keeps crapping out. It keeps resetting in the middle of nothing. You're not doing anything. The phone refreshes and then it would restart. It's happened countless amount of times. Each day it happens at least a couple times. So that is a major issue that I've come across with this device as well. And the last major bug I've been coming across, it's wants to do the basic things, right? You just look at the list of the basic apps that it basically thinks you should be using. The phone app craps out all the time. It only has 4G. This does not have a 5G capability here, right? But call quality wise, you would assume calling would be good. The speaker, the voices, it's fine, right? Audio quality is actually not too bad here. However, the phone drops out calls and it says call disabled. I don't understand that. Sometimes I'm in the same place outside on my on T-Mobile connected, and I'm making a call. One day it will work, the next day it will crap out, and I have to do a physical restart for it to basically allow me to make a phone call in the same position. So there's something wrong with this software, and it's been crapping out in multiple areas of this phone. And that is a major shame, because the whole point of this is that it's just, it wants to be a basic phone that offers you the capabilities to still live your life with your smartphone as the hub. And I love that fundamental idea of it. It has GPS, it has NFC, so I've tapped to pay with this. It has Google Pay on it. If you're taking the bus or whatever, you have all of that information on here. You can even put your driver license on here, like in California, you can do that. And that is terrific because that doesn't make me sacrifice going with technically a dumb phone, right? But if it craps out on even the most basic things like making a phone call reliably or getting a text message pushed through, that's a major issue. So until they solve this and actually release consistent software updates, this phone is unusable in many ways to me. And I cannot recommend this phone at all. And that's a pity because I actually really like this. I actually found myself falling for what Minimal was preaching. And I dropped 2 of my mobile games and my addiction to Reddit. I haven't opened Reddit in like a week now. And it's all thanks to this phone. And I actually do like this hardware. It feels so nice to hold in the hand. And it's just a pity because this is almost unusable on a software side. And just from a visual, I just can't stand this permanent line on here. And even though the Minimal says they're going to fix it, I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. I don't know when it's going to happen. I can't trust that they're going to do it. So at the end of the day, the Minimal phone actually accomplishes what they want to do and what they want the user to change their lifestyle to be. I actually did change my lifestyle because of the phone, and I loved what it can offer me. It just executed terribly, and it's not usable at all on a day-to-day basis, not because of the apps, not because of the stuff, but because it can't function as a phone correctly. So that they really need to fix that. And until then, this is going back to them. It's just in some ways, it's a brick to me right now. And it's a pity because I really wanted to like this phone. Once again, I'm Alex from the Hypnotics. I do love checking these things out. If you have any other devices you want me to check out that's out of the ordinary, let me know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button if this was fun to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.